很高兴邀请到达索系统创新业务总监 Hemi Dornier 来跟我们做分享，我们掌声欢迎。
大家好，我姓Remy Dornier，我负责智能城市的业务发展。真抱歉，我的中文不流利，所以我用英语接受。Last year, the president of, I will present quickly an introduction about smart cities and how digital can help, in fact, to bring industry renaissance inside the cities itself. So last year, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, announced publicly that he will withdraw his country from the climate agreement signed in Paris. And surprisingly, this year, you had some cities in the United States, like New York, who announced that they will comply with this Paris climate change because they think that this this agreement is very important to satisfy, in fact, their citizens and to reach their sustainable goals. So here, we are witnessing that, in fact, cities, there are new kind of cities, certain kind of cities that are able to get decision power over states. And this is what we call, in fact, world cities. And world cities are now inventing themselves, inventing new practices, governance, and experience of economies, which are definitely transforming today's urban life. So this is in cities that we observe the stronger society challenges. And especially in Asia, for example, the demography is definitely booming, and we expect in the coming 30 years that the urban population will double. So in terms of scalability, it means that infrastructure needs to be scaled, the waste management needs to be scaled, the education and lodging need to be thought accordingly, so that every city can compete and keep their attractiveness, in fact, and keep their growing pace. In parallel, you have the connectivity revolution that is brought by IoT coming, and you have new social communication practices that are boosting the innovations. You have online payments, connected shareable bikes. I was very impressed, by the way, in Shanghai, where suddenly in 3 months, you have Shanghai cities that were completely invaded by new shareable bikes. So, and the government was completely overtaken. And they adopt an attitude wait and see because, in fact, they don't know how to react for this such innovative, I would say, practice serving directly citizens in their own cities. So you have also connected and smart lights, which are now a pivot of the city because they can count the traffic, they can assess the water river level to measure risk, and they could also, in fact, measure and assess who is the face of citizens. So basically, the smart connecting lights are becoming an essential pivot, in fact, of the smart city strategies. And at the end, the digital is at the heart of the transformation of the city with the data, which is becoming strategic. And it's offering to cities new practice and opportunity to transform themselves. So, in parallel, the cities, in fact, are complex animals, especially when they are big cities, and they are facing key challenges also that they need, in fact, to overcome. And one of them, for example, is that the optimization of the resources and budget so that the city can sustain their transformations. Sorry. The second challenge is that cities are still governed by silos and organization doesn't have any practice to share together the information so that they can reach and find optimized solutions serving the city ultimately. And last, privacy and security are key concerns, either for government but also citizens. And how to set the right ethics. We have seen the demonstrator in Shenzhen able to assess the civic behavior of a pedestrian not crossing the road on the right place. And so can we leverage, we are using digital new practice in order to rank citizens and how to adopt and put in fact inside the legislation the right practice for digital. So there are world cities that are moving, that already, I would say, adopt innovative practice. in order to overcome those challenges. And Singapore is one of them that has adopted, I would say, a three-axis strategy where since 3 years they have been focusing on fully digitalizing their city, building a digital twin that is now ready, having a fully systemic approach, meaning they are modeling systems inside these cities. And this has been, I would say, done by National Research Foundation of Singapore. And now this model is serving the other organization of the city, the Housing Development Board, that owns 70% of the house in Singapore. They are using this virtual twin in order to better think how they will be refreshing the different areas of the cities. And in a third areas as well, this virtual platform can serve research, innovations, universities inside the government, at the government level, in order to define and serve, I would say, incubators and invent new practices. So let me introduce a few examples about the cities of Singapore that is definitely changing the way we are seeing, the way we are inventing and thinking, I would say, cities. You have two ways to see this picture, okay? You could say, okay, it's a beautiful marketing picture about the Singapore city, but there is another way. So to do that, you need airplanes, okay? You will develop the cities, and you need people maybe to add textures on the buildings and so on. But the problem, if you do that, it will be expensive. Nobody will be in fact owning the task to refresh and maintain this referential. And at the end, in fact, you will not have a persistent digitalization of the city. Dassault Systèmes, and with Singapore, we are approaching the problem differently. We say that, in fact, you can give the ownership to each organization of the city in an horizontal way of their digital content. So the mobility department manage the railway tracks, the environment department manage the park, okay, and the construction department definitely manage the buildings. And the building, by the way, the construction departments, they are working with contractors, they are working with engineering design institute like SMEDI, by the way, which master for decades the digital. Okay? So it's a matter of having the right workflows, the standardized workflow, and step by step get the know-how to get the ownership of the digital content using collaboration practices and bringing collective intelligence. So therefore, we are not facing in cities a 3D GIS challenge, okay, but rather what we call the City Information Management Challenge, SIM challenge. So our platform is object-based. It's gathering digital content in a standardized and controlled way across different teams. And thanks to this way, we are bringing new ways for departments to collaborate and share together. So once you have this digital referential is very useful and a very good way to reveal informations to decisions maker and take decision accordingly. Here, let me present you this video that presents how we have done behavioral analysis with a group of students inside Singapore using the virtual referential.
When we create a virtual Singapore, we virtualize the 3D models, the buildings, the landscape, the urban furnitures. We also virtualize the city life. We integrate the 2D or 3D geospatial information into virtual Singapore.
If we actually think about how that information is going to be displayed, it's critical now that it actually moves to some form of visualization. We really need to be able to see it in operation. Currently, Virtual Singapore is one of the leaders in this area.
5 years from now, there will be 50 billion of connected objects. And people that will be able to gather insight from that smart connected object, sensor, will have a competitive advantage because they will be able to understand the past, to act in the present, to have a better future.
So during the National Science Experiment, we recorded over 100,000 unique trips of students traveling from home to school. We found that over 85% of those trips were with public transportation. We found that the primary students tend to walk to school and the secondary students take the bus. What was also very interesting is to see that the primary students spend 30% more time outdoors than the secondary student, probably because they end up walking to school. Singapore is a highly connected city, so we see Wi-Fi access points almost everywhere in the city. Even the farthest corners of Singapore are connected. The insights about noise are interesting because we can use them to predict when people are active. We notice that students are pretty loud when they're going to school and just before class starts, but then it gets very quiet again during the evening when students are starting to do their homework, we suppose.
With all these people moving around, we'll be able to capture some useful insights that we may not have access to in the past. Maybe this data will be useful for us in the planning of our towns and the design of our buildings.
The National Science Experiment, besides allow the young Singaporeans, the kids, to gain insights from the data collected, it also allow deeper analysis into the urban environment in Singapore.
So 3D is a perfect tool to reveal, in fact, information and to understand what is happening, in fact, from various sources of information, so dynamic sources of information brought by students. Another concept on which we are working now with Singapore, it's about not anymore understanding, but planning, simulating, and I would say optimizing a given situation. So we are working with the urban planning departments to, first of all, try to define the rules we need to comply with, the KPI, the key performance factor we need to comply with when we are designing a new block or a new district in the city of Singapore. And based on that, in fact, we do that on a multi-domain collaborative way, meaning that we consider mobility, we consider walking and lodging, I would say, challenges. And based on that, we have strict rules, and those strict rules help us to make what we call a parametric plannings. So this parametric planning, this is step number 2, help us to design and recommend a given, I would say, compositions that is matching, in fact, the factors and the parameters that we have set at the beginning. Once this is done, we are moving to step number 3, which is in fact maximizing the adoptions by citizens. Because it's digital, you can present this project to citizens and collect, thanks to ideation, social communities and media, their feedback and optimize the environment accordingly using digital. So that at the end, when you will build these zones, it will be already optimized and concerted with citizens. Last but not least, we do that on a persistent way, meaning that we will keep with IoT features, with all devices, watching how this zone is behaving so that after we can optimize it in the long run. So just to give you a few examples, how it looks like. So first of all, you have a tool, so virtual tools digital, which is LifeFu, which help us to make some district planning. We select an area, and according to the parameters and KPI we choose, we can have ideal recommendations. The second concept that I want to highlight is the spontaneity concept. On this specific zone, we are able to dashboard the workflow of the water, okay, and understand different strategy and release, for example, the dependence of the city to drainage, so that we can have infusions of water and think about other alternatives. Another thing that Singapore City very much care about is sparing the energy that the city is consuming. As you understood, they own 70% of the buildings, so they want to reduce the cost of operating them. So for that, they rely very much on simulations and on the way they could shape the entire district so that they could use the natural cooling effect to decrease the consumption of air conditioners. So that's for the introductions related to Singapore cities. I need, I think, to conclude, I would say, fast. So just before conclusions, I will give the microphone to Joe that will illustrate quickly in 1 minute, no more, don't worry, the examples that we have run in Taichung in order to work on hazards, I would say, and IoT features strategies.
Okay. Okay, you're going to play it? Okay.
接下来我大概介绍一下哈，台中我们这个智慧制造的一个所谓的3D 智慧城市的一个示范场域。那在这个部分呢，我们结合在地的一些厂商哈，那这些厂商也就是说，它有架设一些智慧路灯或这些sensor 那个感应器的部分。那这些数据呢，都是在这个平台里面，我们可以拿到这个最及时的一些CO2 啊，或者是工厂里面的一氧化碳臭氧这些资讯。那这些资讯呢，给我们可以做很多不同的一些警戒值。当工厂的一些所谓的温湿度啊这些感应异常的时候，都会通知。那包含这个水位的部分。那这个水位的部分，也就在政府环境或者是我们一些搭配的，我们要去及时监控，不用到现场去了解目前的它的水位状态。那在救难这一块呢，是非常重要的领域。那也就是说，整个智慧城市的场域呢，那我们搭配了这个所谓的物联网的机制，可以让我们可以有很大的一个所谓针对环境去做分析，而不是在大数据上只对这个数据做分析。那你可以看到场域里面的一些很多的应用场景在这个里面。那我们在这个 playground 这边也有针对这一个的场域可以做一个演示。好，那欢迎大家等一下有机会可以来这边。
Okay, just to conclude. I have to mention that the digital is key in order to trigger collaboration between departments and bring collective intelligence. The second point is that with this virtual model, you could also understand how element and object behave together. This is what we call the systemic approach. And last but not least, this digital is not a static model, but it's a model to project yourself in the future and invent the new kind of, I would say, urban areas. So thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, feel free to ask me.
Thank you, Remy。非常谢谢 Remy， 他刚刚跟我们针对城市的趋势挑战，还有在数位转型方面，到底达索系统的这个3D 平台，还有相关的解决方案，可以提供怎么样？